All right, everybody, we're back with a brand new episode here on the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute. Excited to get into why and how you can build your client pipeline without having to live on social media. Now, if you're like me, you probably don't necessarily love spending hours a day thinking up social media content or having to answer maybe a million different questions, but you still want to be able to reach more people, provide great content, and also get more clients. So I want to share with you are different strategies besides social media and probably how to use social media a little bit more appropriately and be able to fill your new client pipeline. That means more people coming in that are interested in hearing more about your practice, and some will sign up and some might sign up 6 months from now. Some might just refer a family member in the future. That's always the way that it is, whether you have an in-person practice or a virtual practice. So let's dive right into today's show. So the first we want to understand is that sometimes as a health coach, you think about, listen, I got into this in order to help people. I didn't get into this to learn the meta algorithms and understand how to create different reels and all sorts of different social media. And I totally get it. But the nice thing is that all you need to do is show up and be authentic. And I'm going to share with you multiple different strategies beyond social media. And that's okay. And that's enough, honestly, because you're just looking for a handful of people to resonate with you. And you don't want to try to trick them. You actually just want to be you, because ultimately they're going to be working with you and they're going to choose you partially because of your personality, not just your education, but by the relatability that they feel they know you and you know them. You understand their particular issues. So again, the nice thing is this, is I can share with you, I've been doing this, and many other practitioners, not just myself, been doing this before social media even existed, right? So before Meta and Instagram and all that was really a thing, call it somewhere around where 2015, 2016, it really started to take off. Again, I had already been in practice, and again, multiple of my colleagues, not just me, since the late 90s, at least part-time and full-time in 2000. And so what I want to share with you is these things will always work, and then you can decide how you want to integrate them online as well. So the first one is this, is that social media is just one channel, and it's a nice visibility factor, but you don't want to burn out. And you also have to be able to differentiate yourself in a sea of maybe familiar-based themes. So what we're focusing on right now is that we don't need a post to go viral. Honestly, that does not matter. What we want to build is a stable, secure, and reliable pipeline where you get new leads each and every month, not just having to wait for a post to go viral, again, which is not usually going to happen, nor is it typically going to be the clients that you want. So we're going to reframe this and say clients don't necessarily come from viral posts. They come from duplicable pathways. And I just want to share with you a story. When I opened my first, even when I was doing in-home personal training, all right, so I had no location, but virtual wasn't a thing back then in the early 2000s. I had in-home personal training and nutrition. So I'd go to a client's house, I would detail all of their meals. I would show them like swaps in their kitchen. I would work with them for fitness, for personal training, body transformation. And then just for that. And then I opened my first studio where, again, same thing, nutrition, body transformation, personal training, etc. Okay. Even before the wellness center was even like a blink of my, or a twinkle in my eye, whatever you want to refer to it as. But think about this. We had three reliable factors. So the first one was we did great with referrals. Okay, so that's a nice thing. You might say referrals are great. We would average at least one referral per client. Again, we had super refers. Some would refer 4 to 6 people a year. Some would refer none. But on average, we got about one referral per new client. And then you say to yourself, well, I need clients first. Exactly, right? So I totally get that. So where did we get our first clients? Two main ways were local marketing advertising. We would do door hangers. We would do rack cards. We would put up business cards in coffee shops for a free consultation. We did that all over our local area within essentially call it 2 to 3 miles maximum. That's it. Okay. So that was kind of step one. That's just guerrilla-based marketing. I've talked about that on a previous Integrative Health Coach Success podcast. Okay. So then the second way we did was back in the day, there was no Meta. There was Facebook, but not like it is here today. So what did we do? We used Google search marketing. That's it. So when someone typed in a search for, call it personal trainer Boston or fitness trainer Boston or something like this, nutritionist Boston, we would show up, right? And so we would pay for those leads. They would have to come to our website, and the website was then going to have to convert. Did everybody who clicked on that ad sign up for a complimentary consultation? No. But what I'm sharing with you right now is the whole process was the same. And I've shared this on previous episodes. So I do hope that the replicability and repetitiveness really show you this is what works. Because it's going to happen on social media or it's going to happen offline, but either way, it works the same way. So you have a lead come in from somewhere. Let's call it Google Ads or let's call it a coffee shop. They pick up their consultation. They hit your website. That's where they go. And then the website needs to be easy to navigate. Back in the day, that you didn't have an online calendar. There was no online scheduler. And so they just filled out some information. We could see how serious they were by the information they filled out. And then we immediately called them back. We immediately got back to them. I told my manager with people, if you're in sessions and you hear the phone ring, check the voicemail directly afterwards. The first person to get to it gets to call that lead back and use our specific script, which is basically like the discovery call now, right? And we would just get them in and schedule them for a time. So the biggest thing is you're going to choose an avenue that works for you. Sometimes it's in-person networking, and sometimes it's working with a chiropractor to refer, or let's say Pilates or an esthetician. We used to put our rack cards in nail salons like everywhere, right? So you're going to find people that refer, but they have to come to your website, right? So you need a website that converts, not just a website. Remember, if you're getting traffic, if you're getting people to come to your website, but no one is signing up for the discovery call or consultation, it's your website. So it's not a traffic issue. We call that traffic, basically people coming to your website, right? That's a good thing. You want that. But then we call it conversion. They're not converting. So you can have two different issues. One, you can have no traffic, or the other, you can have no conversion, right? So if you have no traffic, you can have no conversion, right? Because there's no one coming. But let's say you have traffic, good. Now you have people coming from someplace, referrals, coffee shops, lunch and learns, or social media, right? That works too, great. But then you might have a second issue. You have the traffic, but you don't have the conversion. The website needs to lead people down a very simple avenue for doing one thing and one thing only. And so I'm going to share just a couple mistakes that people are making that I see on their websites, but essentially every page should move people towards the discovery call. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a whole separate episode on this. Your website is designed for new clients, not current customers. Let me repeat that because I'm going to do a whole show on it. But your website should be designed for new clients, not current. Think about it. Think about a hair salon. Think about spa. Once you've been going there for a few weeks to a month, do you ever go back on their website? No, only to schedule most likely, right? It's like you already know what they're all about. Why are you back on their website? So unless it's a consumer product company, but you're talking about a service, it's really designed for new clients only. It should be designed that way. So I'm going to do a separate show on that. Okay, so here's some mistakes though that I see coaches making when they're building out these pipelines, whether they are a personal trainer, esthetician, massage therapist, whoever it might be, right? Nurse practitioner, IHP, is that they're talking to everyone instead of one person. Now, what does that mean? Like, well, don't you want me talking to more people? Yes, but I want you talking to your ideal customer. Now, I know you don't want to turn anyone away, and that's okay. You don't have to if they're a referral, and I wouldn't either. But when you are making content, whether it's a lunch and learn offline or talking with a chiropractor about what you do, you want to make it about one individual you help. And so we've talked a lot about niches and avatars before. Why don't we try to link up a show for you at at ihp.coach/420. We'll link up another show on how to find your niche because it's extremely important. Who you help, how to develop that avatar. Remember, there's a whole business course though after you graduate from level 1 of IHP. And inside of that, it will walk you through all the most important things to get your business up and running. So it's all free. Definitely check that out. There's like 30 personal videos for you. So please do check that out. Okay. So that's the first one. The second one is educating endlessly without inviting. And I'm going to go through that towards the end in just a moment. But again, social media is not a bad place to be. I just don't want you to live on it because when you're living on social media, you're not actually getting a lot of the work done. But here's the thing, whether you're on social media or you're doing a lunch and learn, whatever it might be, you need to make a call to action. My call to action was always sign up for a free consultation. That should pretty much be yours as well. But it could be a lab review, like if you're working with people that have already done labs review, like kind of like a lab audit, like a lab that you've already run. Hey, let me take a look at it. So So nothing wrong with doing that as well. You could also do, a quick start Q&A. You could do as I said before, a lunch and learn for various audiences. You could be a guest on a podcast, whatever it is. But I want you to create kind of something that's replicable and it's really focused on one desired niche. All right. The second is waiting for people to figure it out on their own. So the thing is, you're giving people education, which is amazing, but then you're giving them maybe tasks to do before they come to see you. I know people want to get in shape before they see a personal trainer. They want to start to get healthier, change their diet before they meet a health coach. It's the wrong idea and the wrong thing to do. And I've been saying this for years. And the reason is that you're just wasting time. Honestly, we're all wasting time. When I want to, if I want to, I've done this before. When I wanted to learn how to swim better, I already knew how to swim. I've known how to swim from a fairly young age, but that didn't mean I was competitive any way, shape, or form, right? I did swim team when I was in maybe 8th grade, right? And so here's the thing. When I wanted to become more competitive, I hired a swim coach right away. Sure, I could have swam more on my own, but what am I doing? Just reinforcing the habits I already have. No, I had a swim coach back in the day. This is kind of before all the new technology-based recording to actually look at swim stroke, watched me swim, gave me specific things, do it again, see how it felt, get back out, do it again. Literally them picking apart my technique and showing me better the first time. So my reps that I practice are now more perfect, right? That's what we're trying to get at. And so that's really what you want people to do. They can try it on their own, no doubt about it, but you really just need to get them into that consultation, that discovery call, and share with them, this is your goal, right? Because they're going to tell you what their goals are and their pain points. And then you're going to give them the map. You're not going to say, oh, I can fix that. No, you're going to say, this is how we're going to get you there. And so that's how you build trust. All right. So the last part is relying on inspiration instead of structure. That goes for the client and that goes for the coach as well. So the client needs the structure, right? Because some days they're motivated and some days they're not. Same with you as a coach. Think about it. There's going to be days where I'm way more excited to do even a podcast recording, right? I've got plenty of energy. I'm good to go. I've got the time laid at my schedule. And then think about it, back in the day when I had my in-person wellness center, I was literally just jumping on a microphone even before the camera and just fitting in a 20-minute podcast if I had a 20-minute break literally between client appointments. So that's not as excited I would be as when I have it built in my schedule. So remember, you need structure to your schedule. And I do think that 30 minutes a day for health coaches to be able to dedicate to some type of content creation or building out their client pipeline is absolutely worth it. When you look at that 30 minutes, each 30-minute block, let's say over the course of 3 or 4 days or so, could lead to one new client. And when you compound that over time, it really builds up. It does. When I also try to build out, I would do this for every single personal trainer that I hired, massage therapist, etc. We had about 12 to 16 weeks it would take to build out someone's initial practice. And so I do think that can happen for our IHPs and other health coaches as well with the right structured plan. That's what it's all about. So remember, you're always going to have your one offer. You're going to have your call to action. And that is really what you're trying to sell. And I'm putting that in air quotes for people not watching that on video. And the reason I say that is that you honestly have to sell something that's free. You have to sell the value to it. People aren't just going to knock down your door because you offer a free consultation. They're just not. They have to know, why am I going to spend my time, which is not free, with you for 20 minutes on a call? I need to know what I'm going to get out of that. So tell them on that discovery call page, here is what the discovery call is going to look like. Here is what you're going to leave with. This is what you're going to get. And I think you're going to have a lot more success. So couple direct invitations I want you to make. You're going to tell people on video, in person, etc. Here's how I help people. Here's how I help my clients. You're literally going to tell them that, right? And then you're going to say, this is who it's for. That's how you're going to call out your niche. I am an integrative health practitioner that helps women or men or children or whoever it is do X, Y, and Z. That's how you're going to do it, ideally in your bio as well. And then you're going to say, here's how to take that next step. That's your call to action. I have, you might say, I have space in my schedule in the month of January to take on 3 new clients. If you're interested in hearing more about how I help women over the age of 40 rebalance their hormones and live with more energy, vitality, and a better mood, feel free to click the free consultation link, and I'd be happy to talk with you complimentary, whatever you might say, right? So easy, to the point. This is who it's for. This is how I can help. This is what to do next, right? Click the link in my bio. Go to xyzwellness.com/consult. However you want to do it, that's where you want to land them to. Okay. So I've gone through all sorts of different strategies here, but referrals is always the best one. Of course, you have to get clients first. That's going to come with whether you're running ads. Ideally, you're not doing that yet. You're putting up your social media posts. I want at least one a day. That's my goal for you. One a day, no more than 30 minutes, without a doubt. Then that's what's going to do the one-to-many education, or you're going to do it offline with lunch and learns, like I said. Then you're also going to have strategic partnerships that I've talked about on previous podcasts with a chiropractor, massage therapist, et cetera, in your local area. Whether people meet with you virtually or in person, doesn't matter. You can still have those local partnerships. You can also have online partnerships as well. And the last part, which I'll talk about on a future podcast, is getting people onto your email list. So then your email list will also have automated emails that get sent out, because email it gets read so much more than your social media posts, right? Even if your emails only get read by 40 to 50% of the people who sign up, keep in mind, that's way better than the 2 to 3% of people that might see on your following your social media post for the day. So always try to get people on your email list. We'll talk about that in the future with a really great a really great guide for them to sign up for on your website. All right. So if all this is new for you, you don't know about creating a website, you don't know about kind of creating that lead magnet, something for people to opt in email-wise, you don't need to purchase, you don't need to sign up, but go to practicebuilt.io and just look at the different requirements that a health coach in the year 2026 should really have. So just go through that. Just look at the online scheduling and just put a little checkbox. Okay, I'm doing that. Look at the free discovery call. Great, I'm doing that. Do I have my mobile website? Great, I'm doing that. Do I have a lead magnet to start getting emails that I can then send an email newsletter as well once a month with my articles? Just put checkboxes. And if you're already doing those things, amazing. And then practicebuilt.io is there for those people that want a helping hand, that don't want to become the tech people, so they can look into that as well. But again, there's never any pressure on our end. We only help 30 people anyway per month. So that's that. So just again, as you're putting together your new year plan, I want you to think about, where do people find me first? You get to decide that, really. How do I build trust with them? And then, do I have a clear call to action? Hopefully that's your discovery call, your free consultation where you're calling out your ideal avatar. Hopefully this was helpful, everybody. Again, for all those show notes and big takeaways, head on over to ihp.coach/420. Take care.